Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and today I've got a cough drop, so hopefully I won't sound too terrible. Additionally, I finally have the final deck list for the $30 budgets. Today's deck is going to be playing both sides of the spectrum, both the Cyber and the Cyberdark. We will to show you guys how to play Cyberdark and Dragon today. And real quick, let's just go ahead, get you guys into that deck list, and yeah. So first, we're going to talk about the Cyber Dragon portion because, number one, I like it better. It's something I'm a little more into. But additionally, it is... You know what? Let me say one more thing real quick because I really suck at annotations on the previous video and during the opening. I got a little overexcited. I hadn't looked up the price for the crossout designator in a minute. So I think I quoted as it being to have paid for all 5 tins. It is no longer at that extreme pricing. I want to say it was closer to 55. I should have left a comment on the other video. Please don't beat me up too much about it. Okay, back on track. I started with the Cyber style just because, again, this is something I'm a little more familiar with. But additionally, I tend to alphabetize my decks because that's a little compulsion in my brain. So, 40-card main deck. We're going to run 3 copies of Cyber Dragon, and 3 is actually really good, especially when you're doing a $30 budget build. We might change that a little bit later. We got 3 copies Cyber Dragon Core, pretty much the best starter in this deck, and we'll explain that when we go over the card effects. And I'm running singles of both Noster and Hers, or something like that. My German's not so good, so if you guys want to write me a phonetic down in the comments, that'd be great. I'd love to stop stumbling over that. But these are essentially going to be, in addition to the core, they're going to be my 5 machine dupe targets. So, awesome. Moving over to the Cyberdark stuff, we are going to run 2 copies of Cannon because he's really good. We're going to run 2 copies of Chimera because, again, we're going to be able to search out our Powerbond this way. We're going to run singles of Edge, Horn, and Keel, because they all need to be played. And then, of course, I had things out of order still. 3 copies of Cyberdark Claw. Let me rectify that real quick. Now, that should be 18 monster cards. I'll double check that with you real quick. 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 18. So that was correct. That's good. Since we're only going to be running 5 traps, the rest are obviously going to be spells. The spells, we're going to be using 3 copies Cyber Emergency because it's a good way to, again, if you don't already have the core in your hand, this would be a great way to search out some of your Cyber Dragon pieces. And again, 3 for consistency. We're going to run a single copy of the field spell, Cyberdark Inferno. We're going to run 3 copies of the Cyberdark Realm because it's amazing. We're going to run 3 copies of Cybernetic Horizon this time because, again, amazing. 3 copies of Machine Dupe, because this is really going to help us, especially when we're needing to go to the Cyber and Dragon. Now, remember, we can also search out Powerbond. So we're talking about an 8K with piercing, so very cool. We are going to tech in the single copy of Overload Fusion, not just because the banishment effect, but this is a good way to sort of extend, especially if you're trying to go for game. It's just real good. Again, we want to maximize out the power bonds. It's the most usual way that we're going to play to go into our card. 2 copies of Invasion for our traps, and then of course 3 infinite impermanence because infinite impermanence. This is almost the whole reason to buy this deck if you're not interested in the cards that came in the deck outside of this. But it's just a great toss in too from Konami. Again, this is just super for us. And that was not meant to be a joke based on the rarities. So that should be my 40-card build. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Yeah. I'm still a little worried, like when I did the Obelisk deck, there were 2 cards left in my deck box, and I didn't catch it till later when you guys caught it for me. So definitely a 40-card deck this time. And again, since the extra deck was 5 cards per copy, that equals out to a full 15 for us. We are going to run the full complement this time, so we're going to have the 3 over dragons. Again, realistically, you need one of these. Cyber End Dragon, you probably run 2, but today we're going to run 3. Cyberdark, again, we're probably only going to be able to play this guy once. We're going to have all 3 with us. Cyberdark End, probably only going to need that at 1, maybe 2. And again, we're going to run it at 3. And then, of course, Cyber Darkness. Probably only need 1 of those, but again, full complement of 3. So, I do hope that you guys enjoyed the list. And if that was all that you came here for today, I really do want to take a quick second and thank you guys for showing up. It means a lot to me. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you'd like to support the channel, easiest way to do it is just keep doing what you're doing. Watch. Keep coming back. One way that helps you do that, if you haven't already, you might consider hitting the subscribe button and then possibly let your friends know about the channel. That would be great as well. But, you guys have a great day. That's the only real thing I need from you. Just if you could do that for me. And for everybody else, let's go over the card effects. Maybe you're new to this, but maybe you're not, and you just like hearing it. I don't know. So real quick, Cyber Dragon is a good card because number 1, we need him for the name. 2, if only your opponent controls a monster and you have no monsters, then you can special summon this from your hand. It's a good way to start building up the field. Usually I want to play this guy through machine dupe, but things don't always go to plan. So that's that. Cyber Dragon Core, I mentioned earlier, he's like the best starter. So this card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. This is going to be the same for Noster and Hers. Additionally, if this is normal summoned, add 1 Cyber spell trap from your deck to your hand. Stop. Cyber Dark is Cyber. So again, this makes all of our spell traps that have the word Cyber in them searchable. So not only can we search out Powerbond in this deck because Chimera is a thing now, but this just really helps put these 2 decks together. It's just great. Additional effect. If only your opponent controls a monster, you can banish this card from the graveyard to special summon 1 Cyber Dragon monster from your deck. You can only use 1 Cyber Dragon Core effect per turn and only once that turn. Again, I am more than likely always going to use the first effect to tutor spells. Or trap, depending on the situation. Spells a little more fluid. Hers, again, name becomes Cyber Dragon Field and Grave. You can only use 1 of the following effects per turn and only once that turn. First effect, if this is special summon, you can make this card's level become 5 until the end of this turn, and you cannot special summon monsters for the remainder of the turn except machines. Good effect, better in a full-on Cyber Dragon deck, not the one we're here for today. The one we're here for today is if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 other Cyber Dragon from your deck or your graveyard to your hand, and this is going to come in handy with the new spell cards. And then, of course, there's Noster. Noster is awesome. Becomes Cyber Dragon again when in field or grave. You can discard 1 other monster card, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target 1 machine monster with 2100 attack or defense in the graveyard, special summon that card. Also, you cannot special summon for the remainder of the turn except machines again. Each effect is a hard once per turn. But what's brilliant here is you could actually discard the Cyber Dragon to special summon Noster and then have Noster bring back the Cyber Dragon. And if you started with 2 Cyber Dragons in this, and your opponent went first, that's 1 special summon, effective special summon, 3rd special summon. So, I mean, there is some play with that. Going over to the Cyberdark cards, and again, here's why Canon is amazing. Just in case you guys didn't see the Cyberdark $30 build. If this is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster card, you can draw 1 card. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. You can discard this card, add a machine Cyberdark monster from deck to hand, which is great. And during the damage calculation, if a monster equipped with this battles, you can send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard. So it gets you some foolish burial action while also being able to tutor a card. And we can do that discard from the hand regardless. We can discard, we could summon up 1 of the original trio, Horn Edge Keel, equip this card, and then if that ends up leaving the field again for some reason, then additionally we do get the draw card. So again, that's pretty good. That's pretty important. That's why it's at 2. We do have the Cyberdark Chimera. This is a good card, great card. You can discard 1 spell trap, add one Powerbond from your deck to your hand. You can only use this, you can only use Dragon or Machine monsters as fusion material this turn. Fine. Also, when you fusion summon this turn, you can banish monsters from the graveyard in addition as material. So Powerbond becomes polymerization plus graveyard. So hand, field, and discard pile. With only the discard pile cards getting removed. So this is just amazing. This is, again, one of those things that's going to let you play into the last card of the deck more rapidly. This is sent to the graveyard. And you can send one Cyberdark monster from your deck to the graveyard with a different name than the cards in your graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. And again, we do get a Foolish Burial effect. It is all about getting them all in the discard pile. Overload Fusion's definitely a thing. It's very good. Very strong play. Additionally, Claw and Cannon. Claw, if this is sent to the graveyard while equipped, you can target a Cyberdark monster in the graveyard and add that back to your hand. Using each of the following effects once per turn, you can discard this to add one Cyberdark spell trap from your deck to your hand. And again, this is another great search. And during damage calculation, when a monster equipped with this one battles, you can send one monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. So this is extra Foolish Burial without costing half your hit points. And again, since he's the better one, we do run him at 3. And then there are the originals, Edgehorn and Keel. They all have pretty much the same effect. When each one of these is normal summoned, you select a level 3 or lower dragon monster in the graveyard, equip that to this card, gain attack equal to the original attack of the monster equipped to it by this effect. And if this card would be destroyed by battle, destroy the equipped monster instead. Now, the effect that they have differently is that Edge can attack directly, and if it does, its attack power is halved during the damage calculation only. Horn gains piercing when attacking defense. And Keel says that if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you get to inflict 300 points of damage to the opponent. And again, when I played the Cyberdark only deck, Keel was my least favorite. I still think this, but, we do need the names in order to go into Cyberdarkness. So one each seemed fair enough, especially with all the ability to throw from our deck. Moving on to our spells, we do have the Cyber Emergency. You can add one Light Machine monster that cannot be normal summoned or set, or one Cyber Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. That second one's the one that we're always going to be doing, because we do not carry any cards that follow the other ruling. If the activation of this card in its owner's possession is negated by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can discard one card to add this back to your hand. You can only activate one of these per turn. So, very cool. And it can cycle itself through if your opponent wants to expend resources. I don't see myself doing that very often. It is what it is. Let's talk about the Cyberdark Inferno field spell real quick. Cyberdark effect monsters you control that are equipped with an equipped card cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects, and your opponent cannot target them with card effects. So this gives us a great blanket protection so long as they are equipped. You can target one Cyberdark monster you control, return it to the hand, then immediately after that effect resolves, normal summon one Cyberdark monster. So if we do this to a monster that is equipped, the equipment will fall off, at which point we'll be able to get the Claw and Cannon effects. Again, Cannon will let us draw, and Claw lets us search, right? I already forgot. Yeah, no, sorry, you can add one of your Cyberdarks back to your hand during that. So again, that's pretty cool. And then when we normal summon it back as part of the effect, not as a normal summon that's for the turn, we'll be able to re-equip them and get them back under the protection of the Inferno itself. So pretty cool. You can only use this effect once per turn, and if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add one polymerization spell or fusion spell from your deck to your hand. The only target that we really have for this is going to be Overload Fusion, which, again, is 100% fine. This is like having 2 copies of it in this deck. And you know what? This is just a $30 budget deck, so it's still fine. It's still good. Run it at 1. You guys could modify it. My decks are cookie cutters. Let's be honest. One of the newer cards, the Cyberdark Realm Continuous Spell. When this card is activated, you can add one Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. So the sooner you play this, the better the effect. The later you play this, the more limited your options become. But it's all about getting those names. During the main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon one Cyberdark monster. And again, this isn't counting your normal summon for the turn. This is one that's performed through the effect of the card. You can only use the previous effect of Cyberdark Realm once per turn. If you equip a monster from your graveyard by the effect of a Cyberdark monster that is activated when it is normal or special summoned, you can equip from the opponent's graveyard instead. You may only activate one of these per turn. All fair and fine. But when you guys do go to equip from the opponent's discard pile, please make sure that the targets are actually eligible targets. Because I'm sure that's a ruling. So don't think that you can just go ahead and absorb a Dark Magician for no reason. Cybernetic Horizon, another great card that we just got. This one is also always considered a Cyberdark card. So again, we can find this with Core or the Cannon effect. Or was it Cannon or Claw? I'm still getting them mixed up because I didn't play Cyberdark as much. This is great. We get to send 2 dragon and or machine cyber monsters with different attributes. So we need to send one from the light, one from the dark. And they include the dragons, so that Claw and Cannon are underneath this blanket statement. One of them has to be from your hand, one from your deck. And then you add 1 dragon or machine cyber monster from the deck to your hand. And if you do, send 1 machine cyber fusion monster from the extra deck to the graveyard. And again, when we're talking about playing into Cyber Darkness, which should be your ultimate goal, this is a great way for you to send the cyber and dragons so that you'll be able to equip when you fusion summon into that so that we can go into the Cyber Dark end. You can only activate 1 of these per turn. You cannot special summon from the extra deck the turn you play this, except machines. Again, we're totally covered under this. We are fine. Machine dupe. This will allow you to target 1 machine that you control with 500 or less attack. Special summon up to 2 with the same name. Again, we have 5 targets that are going to be counted as Cyber Dragon. And even though they're not going to be the same card, they count their name as it. So we'll be able to special out 2 more copies of original Cyber Dragon through this big strategy. So keep that in mind. Overload Fusion. Fusion summon 1 Dark Fusion machine from the extra deck by banishing the materials listed from either your field or graveyard. So no hand on this one, but that's fine. Especially with all the sending to discard pile that we're doing. And we should be able to, again, use equip cards because they are on the field. If not, just modify your field until you're there. Powerbond is our main fusion spell for this deck. Fusion summon 1 machine fusion monster from the extra deck using materials from your hand or field as fusion material, and it gains attack equal to its original attack. During the end phase of the turn you activate this, take damage equal to the amount of attack gained from the effect at the time of the summon. So again, if you're playing Cyber End, which is what I usually play off this, you will be summoning something at 4,000. It'll gain 4,000, and at the end of the turn, you will lose 4,000. But hopefully you guys got the game swinging, so you won't have to worry about paying that. And then our 5 traps, we're going to be using 2 copies of the Cyberdark Invasion again. Once per turn, you can activate one of the following. Target 1 Cyberdark effect monster you control. Equip a dragon or machine from either graveyard to it as an equip spell that gives it 1,000 points. What's fantastic about this is it does say either graveyard, and it doesn't have a star limit on you. So again, if you are playing the mirror match, feel free to take your opponent's Cyber and Dragon out of there so that they can't play the strategy. Send 1 equip card you control as the secondary effect equipped to a machine monster to the discard pile. Destroy 1 card the opponent controls. This allows us a little bit of spot removal. And you can only use each effect once per turn. Very good card. And then, of course, Infinite Impermanence, the best hand trap, the only hand trap that's a trap. Target a face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn. Then, if this card was set before activation and is on the field at resolution, for the rest of this turn, all other spell trap effects in the column are negated. If you control no cards, you can activate this from your hand. So this is perfect if your opponent ends up going first. You might be able to stall or stun out their strategy by just using this 1 trap. Very cool. Let's go over the extra deck once more real quick, and then I'll let you guys go for the day. So the Chimera Tech Overdragon is Cyber Dragon plus X machines, or as they say, 1 or more. Must be fusion summoned. If this card is fusion summoned, send all other cards you control to the graveyard. The original attack and defense of this become equal to the number of materials used for it times 800. And this card can attack your opponent's monsters up to a number of times each battle phase equal to the number of fusion materials. So again, if we use 5 materials, we'll be able to attack 5 of their monsters every battle phase, which is fine. And it'll also be, what, 5 and 8's 4,000, so that's fine. Cyber End Dragon, just a nice big piercing monster. It takes 3 Cyber Dragons to make. A fusion summon of this can only be done with the above materials. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing. Again, 4K. Very good. We do have the Cyberdark Dragon. This requires Horn Edge and Keel. Must be fusion summoned. If this card is special summoned, target 1 dragon in the graveyard. Doesn't require a level again. So again, if we are under the ability to use our opponent's discard pile, this could be their Blue Eyes White Dragon, because, you know, the Mega Tin gave more Blue Eyes support. So that's always going to be a thing. Gain attack equal to the original attack of the monster equipped to it by this effect. Gain 100 attack for each monster in your graveyard. And if this would be destroyed by battle, you can destroy the equipped monster instead. Which is great because he starts off at a pretty low 1,000 points. But again, we're going to be loading the discard pile the whole match. So we should have way more effect than that. Going over to the new boss monster, that's the Cyberdark End. Requires Cyberdark Dragon and Cyber End Dragon. Must either be fusion summoned or special summoned by attributing 1 level 10 or lower Cyberdark Fusion monster equipped with Cyber End Dragon. So again, usually just going to be darkness, whichever. Unaffected by opponent's activated effects. Once per turn, you can equip 1 monster in either graveyard to this card. This card can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of monsters equipped to it, or just equipped cards. So again, if you are playing other equipped cards, this will work there too. Additionally, this would be great under Powerbond if you could do it. It would be a Powerbond worth 10,000 points, the ability to pick up other cards, and if we use the Invasion Trap card, we'll be able to additionally add extra equips and extra attacks, which is great. It's literally great. And the best part is the attacks that it gains can be direct attacks. If you take one more look there, it doesn't say attack opponent's monsters, just gains attacks. So very cool boss monster. Last card in the deck, Cyber Darkness Dragon. Just any 5 Cyber Dark effect monsters must first be special summoned, or fusion summoned, sorry. If it is special summoned, you can equip 1 dragon or machine from your graveyard to this card. Again, this is my favorite way to go to the Cyberdark End. Gain attack equal to the original attack of the monster equipped to it by this effect. Again, this will bring this up to a whopping 6,000. Or again, possibly 8,000 if you power bond into this. When your opponent activates a card or quick effect, your opponent activates a card or effect, as a quick effect, you can send 1 equipped card you control to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy the card. Real quick, read that one more time. When the opponent activates, you can send 1 card equipped that you control. This means it does not need to be the one that's actually equipped to the Cyber Darkness Dragon. Additionally, it does not say once per turn, so you can do this multiple times in a turn if you have multiple cards equipped. So again, kind of a cool boss card. I do hope that you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for slogging through this one with me. I am going to do a couple of test hands. I'm actually going to shuffle it up and do some random hands. I like to keep them authentic like that and genuine, because just anybody can go ahead and put together like the optimal hand, and that doesn't really do justice to what happens in everyday casual gaming. And again, I would not be the casual duelist if I wasn't worried about stuff like that. So again, one more time, I want you guys to have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you'll stop by again tomorrow. Check out those test hands. And just real quick, peace. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.